Think about your earliest memory. Maybe it's a birthday party, a family road trip, your first day of school. Now here's the uncomfortable truth: that memory isn't real. Not entirely. Every single time you've recalled that moment throughout your life, your brain has been quietly, invisibly rewriting it, changing details, filling gaps, borrowing pieces from other memories, and stitching them into something that feels like the truth. And the most disturbing part, you had absolutely no idea it was happening. For most of human history, we assume memory worked like a camera. You experience something, your brain records it. When you want to remember it, you press play. Clean, accurate, reliable? That assumption is completely wrong. Modern neuroscience has revealed something far stranger. Memory isn't a recording. It isn't a photograph locked in a filing cabinet in your skull. Memory is a reconstruction. Every time you remember something, your brain isn't retrieving a stored file, it's rebuilding the memory from scratch. Pulling fragments together, filling missing pieces, reassembling the whole thing in real time. And every time it does that reassembly, it changes something. Scientists call this memory reconsolidation. When you access a memory, those neural connections become temporarily unstable, like a document opened for editing. In that window, the memory is vulnerable. It can be altered, updated, overwritten, then it gets saved again. But now it contains whatever just changed. You didn't notice, you never do. In the 1970s, a psychologist named Elizabeth Loftus ran an experiment that changed everything we thought we knew about human memory. She showed participants footage of a car accident, then asked questions, but subtly changed one word. Some people were asked, how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other? Others were asked, how fast were the cars going when they contacted each other? One word, that's it. People who heard smashed estimated significantly higher speeds, and a week later, they were far more likely to falsely remember seeing broken glass at the scene. There was no broken glass, there never was. One word, planted in a question, had physically rewritten their memory of something they witnessed with their own eyes. Loftus went further. In a later study, she managed to implant entirely false memories of events that never happened at all. Using family members as accomplices, she told participants that as children, they had gotten lost in a shopping mall, that a kind stranger returned them to their parents. It never happened. But after several sessions of being asked to think back and remember details, roughly 25% of participants not only believed it was real, they started adding details. The color of the stranger's jacket, what their parents said, the emotions they felt, all fabricated, all completely real to the people remembering them. A memory so vivid, so emotionally detailed, that you would bet your life on it. And it never happened. Before you spiral into an existential crisis, there's an important question. Why does the brain do this? Is it a flaw? A bug? Actually, no. It's almost certainly a feature. A computer stores information perfectly. Every file frozen exactly as saved. That sounds ideal, but for a living creature in a constantly changing world, perfect frozen memories would be a disadvantage. Imagine you're an early human. You had a terrifying encounter with a predator near a watering hole. Your brain locked in that memory hard. Danger, fear, survive. But 3 years later, the predator is gone. The territory changed. New information emerged. A brain that updates memories, that incorporates new context and new meaning, adapts far more effectively than one that keeps everything permanently frozen. Memory was never meant to be a perfect record of the past. It was designed to be a useful tool for navigating the future. Your brain isn't preserving history, it's constantly updating its model of the world, and your memories are part of that living, breathing model. That's why the same childhood memory can feel funny when you're an adult, devastating when you're struggling, and completely neutral when you've healed. The event didn't change, your memory of it did, continuously, invisibly. This has real consequences, serious ones. Eyewitness testimony has historically been considered some of the most powerful evidence in a criminal trial. Someone who saw it happen, who remembers it clearly, who can look a jury in the eye and say, I know what I saw. But we now know eyewitness testimony is among the least reliable forms of evidence in existence. The Innocence Project, which uses DNA evidence to exonerate wrongfully convicted people, found that in cases where innocent people were convicted, eyewitness misidentification played a role in roughly 69% of them. Not because people lied, because they remembered confidently, completely, incorrectly. But the consequences go somewhere even more personal than a courtroom. Think about the story you tell about your own life, the narrative you carry, who you are, what shaped you, what broke you, what made you stronger. All of it runs through memory. And if memory is constantly being rewritten, updated by your current emotions and beliefs, then the story of who you are is also constantly being rewritten. Here's what's remarkable though. Therapies like EMDR actually use use memory reconsolidation deliberately. By having patients recall traumatic memories while simultaneously processing new sensory input, therapists help the brain reconsolidate those memories with less emotional devastation. The trauma doesn't disappear, but its grip loosens because the memory itself has been gently updated. The same mechanism that plants false memories can also help heal real ones. So go back to that earliest memory. It happened. Something real occurred. You were there, but the version living in your mind right now, the colors, the sounds, the emotions, the specific details, that's been touched by every version of you that has existed since. Your 5-year-old self experienced it, your teenage self reframed it, your adult self gave it meaning it didn't originally have. It's less like a photograph and more like a painting worked on for decades, layer over layer over layer. And maybe that makes it more meaningful, not less, because it doesn't just show you what happened, it shows you who you've become. If this made you question your own memories, drop in the comments which memory just came to mind. I read every single one, and next week we're going somewhere even deeper. Why your brain is physically incapable of imagining true nothingness and what that reveals about the fear of death. Subscribe so you don't miss it.